Digital transformation is not just about technology, it's about people. In this video, we're going to talk about digital transformation and culture and what you need to know. First, we're going to talk about what digital transformation even is, and then what you need to know in order to make sure that your digital transformation is as successful as possible. There is one key to success in digital transformation, and it might surprise you to learn that it has nothing to do with technology. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why culture is so integral to getting your digital transformation off the ground and successful. Last year, Gartner predicted that 80% of mid-sized businesses were going to be leveraging their culture to create successful digital transformation in their businesses. So what is digital transformation? Digital transformation is the integration of technology in all areas of the business to drive business results and the customer experience. And digital transformation can be very confusing for employees because the pace of change can often feel very rapid. As new tools get implemented, new processes are created, people are constantly having to adapt the way that they work. And confusion is one of the key experiences that leads to negative workplace culture. So we want to avoid confusion, embrace a culture of change, and help enable your digital transformation. That's why culture is so important. It might surprise you to learn that over 40% of organizations on average feel confused about the specific task that they need to do. And clarity of results in our research has been shown to be the #1 most impactful factor in improving your culture strength. So to be very clear about the purpose of any new digital tools that you're implementing, and also leveraging culture to make sure that those tools get adopted at a higher rate and leveraged the most in your organization, is key. There are 5 key steps to ensuring that your digital transformation is successful and integrated with your workplace culture. And I'm going to go over those 5 steps in a minute. But before I do, if you are interested in more content about workplace culture, then like this video and subscribe to the channel to see how we are unleashing the power of culture to inspire businesses and people to reach their full potential. So the first thing that you need to know in any digital transformation is that your culture will make or break adoption of any tool. That is because culture is the experiences that we have which shape our beliefs about the work that we're doing, about how we do that work, about each other, and those beliefs determine the actions we take, and that's what gets us results. So if you want to transform the way your business operates by implementing a new tool, but the rollout is not done well, then the experience that an employee or multiple employees might have could be very negative. They won't understand how to use the tool, they don't understand the value of using the tool or the impact that that tool could have on the business. And that negative experience at rollout will shape a belief in that employee's mind, or many employees, that this tool is a waste of time, that it was a bad decision to implement the usage of this tool, and that they don't want anything to do with it. That belief will lead to an action, namely that they won't adopt the tool. They don't want to learn about the tool, they don't want anything to do with the tool. And in fact, they're going to spend their time talking about how useless that tool is. And that's going to get you a result. The result that people are not using the tool that you've just spent so much money investing in. And in fact, there's another result that happens there. When people complain about how negative their experience has been with any digital transformation, then that is an experience. It's an experience that is created in another employee's mind. That experience is a story they heard about how useless this tool is, and that will shape their belief. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that if you don't create positive experiences right in the beginning, then that will lead to a culture that is not interested in the transformation that you are suggesting. That is why change management is so critical to the kind of work that you're doing, whether it's digital transformation or any other kind of transformation. So thinking about digital transformation specifically, what are the 5 steps in a successful digital transformation that leverages culture to make sure that you advance your business results accordingly? The first is to assess your organization's existing culture to understand whether the current structures in your organization are going to facilitate the adoption of this transformation or whether they might hinder that adoption. Doing an assessment in which you check in with your employees and look objectively at the current cultural beliefs that employees hold about how work gets done is key to understanding how to overcome the resistance to change. Now, some resistance to change can be good. Some resistance to change is employees telling you about pitfalls, employees telling you what isn't working for them, and listening to that is important. But many times, resistance to change is simply a result of not understanding the value that can be created from change and a resistance to doing things differently. Especially when change comes quickly and there's a lot of change at once, it can lead to overwhelm. So assessing your organization's culture's readiness for change and the structures in place that will either facilitate or not that digital adoption is key. The second step in a successful digital transformation is alignment, and that alignment has to start with leadership. Leaders across the entire organization need to not only understand the case for change themselves, but they have to understand what their teams are going to need to do to adopt to this transformation. Every team will have their role. The CEO has a role in explaining the value of this transformation. The communications team has a role in communicating that change frequently and often. HR has a responsibility to make sure that onboarding processes are updated for new employees who need to learn about that change. Finance has a financial responsibility, and then the function that's using the tool might have another responsibility. Everyone has their role to play, and alignment at the leadership level will ensure that everyone is playing their part towards this digital transformation. There's also alignment that needs to happen below the leaders, and that is why feedback is so important. Asking your employees what's not working, what they're worried about, what kind of fears they have, what has worked and not worked in previous transformation efforts is key to understanding how to improve the way that we roll out these digital transformations. The third step in any digital transformation is to develop a systematic strategy for execution. Every business has a strategic plan. In the same way, every transformation effort needs its own strategic plan, and that starts with asking why. Why must this change occur? What is the purpose of this digital transformation? And that needs to be something that is clear and concise. Something that in 6 words or less you can explain why this transformation is going to benefit the organization and its employees or its customers. And that is the rallying cry to resistance to change. Whenever we come up against the friction of change is hard, we can remember our why. We always start with why. Then you need to figure out the how. What are the nuts and bolts of how this digital transformation is going to occur? And that includes both the strategic anchors or priorities for that digital transformation and also how you're going to activate that how and get results through culture. The way that you activate your strategy in a business is the same way that you activate your strategy for a digital transformation. You have to understand what cultural beliefs are necessary for your employees to get bought into this change. Identify what broadly held beliefs need to exist and then create the experiences that will lead to those beliefs. And that's actually the fourth step in any digital transformation. It has to do with enrolling your organization, and we enroll the organization by helping to nurture the cultural beliefs that will get it done. And we do that through experiences. Experiences are created in training programs, but they're also created in the stories that we tell, in the way that the CEO talks about it the first time that they introduce the idea, in the way that leaders talk about it when they're discussing the strategic elements of the transformation. We also create experiences in the feedback that we give and receive. That is why it is so critical in that first step to ask employees for feedback. Get them involved in the transformation so they don't feel like it's being done to them, but rather they feel like they're a part of the transformation and they're helping make decisions on what's best for the company. If you've ever been part of a digital transformation effort that that was really good or really bad. We'd love to hear the story. Comment on this video to tell us what happened and what tips and tricks you used to make sure that it was as successful as possible, or tell us what things we should avoid to make sure that the digital transformation efforts don't fail. Now, the last step in any digital transformation effort is to monitor the progress of that transformation. As technology gets adopted, as new systems are put in place, as new structures develop, it's important to make sure that they are continuing to work for the organization. That means continuing to give and receive feedback from employees about how it's going, how things can be improved, and to check in with leaders about whether or not they're getting the value that they were hoping for, making sure that this is advancing the organization's goals towards the employee experience or customer experience or whatever it was that the digital transformation efforts were attempting to accomplish. Now, you may know that I spent 10 years at Oracle doing culture transformation work with senior leaders in that organization. And when I was there, Oracle was undergoing its own digital transformation. They were moving from the on-premise organization that they had always been to being the leader in cloud technology. And moving from an on-premise model to a cloud model was a significant change across every function of the organization. It required new types of thinking in leadership, tons of communication, new objectives and goals, new teams being formed, new structures within the organization, new processes, new technological tools. It really was an overhaul of the entire organization. One of the first things that Oracle did in this digital transformation was bring in someone who had expertise in cloud technology that was able to be the Pied Piper for the entire organization. Their mission wasn't to get into the technicalities of it, but was rather there to help create the why, to help express the purpose of this transformation. They started by gathering feedback from both employees and customers and understanding the current levels of thinking and the current workplace culture and what needed to shift. So many shifts were necessary, and listening to employees was key to a successful transformation. Then they aligned leadership around the why, around the vision, leveraging the feedback that they had received, and they developed a plan. That plan required everyone in the company to participate in. But there was a vision. Everyone was in the same boat, moving in the same direction towards that cloud transformation. They enrolled employees in that mission over the course of years. It didn't happen overnight. And then they continuously monitored if they were on the right track, where they were falling through the gaps, and where they can improve quarter after quarter. Oracle is one of the most successful cloud companies in the world because they were thoughtful about that digital transformation. If you'd like more information on your digital transformation and how to leverage culture to drive results, then there's a playbook for you and also some research at gift.culture.io, or you can click on the link in the description below.